Good morning, Bante. Vandami Bante.
Sorry.
Bante, first asking for forgiveness.
Okay, you can start.
Yes, Bante. Oka Vandami Bante.
Sadhu, sadhu, sukhi, hotu.
Varatayena Mayankatang Sabangaparadang Kamatame Bante. Dutiyampi Oka Vandami Bante. Dwaratayena Mayankatang Sabangaparadang Kamatame Bante. Tatiyampi Oka Vandami Bante. Tatiyampi Oka Vandami Bante. द्वारतयेन मयं कृतं सबंगपराधं कमतमे Bante. Bante now asking for Ajivatthamaggashila.
Okay.
Oka
Okay, you can
sahang
request, right? It's
Bante.
okay.
Oka sahang Bante tisaranena saha Ajivatthamaggashīlang dhammang yachami anugahang katva silang dethame Bante. Dutiyampi oka sahang Bante tisaranena saha Ajivatthamaggashīlang dhammang yachami अनुगहं कत्वा शीलं देथमे भन्ते ततियम्पि ओकासहं भन्ते तिसरणेन सह आजीवट्ठमग्गशीलं धम्मं याचामि अनुगहं कत्वा शीलं देथमे भन्ते
Yamavadami Tamvadita.
आं भन्ते
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स
Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
द्वितीयंपि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि द्वितीयंपि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि द्वितीयंपि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
Dadiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dadiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Dadiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
तृतीयंपि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि तृतीयंपि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि तृतीयंपि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
Sarana Gamanam Bonam.
आम भन्ते
Okay, you can recite.
यस भन्ते
Finally, but you can
पानातिपाता
recite, right?
यस भन्ते पानातिपाता वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि अदिन्नदाना वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि कामेषु मिच्छाचारा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि मुसावादा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि पिसुना वाचा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि परुसा वाचा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि संभप्पलापा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि इच्छा आजीवा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि
Saranena Sa'ata Ajivatamaka Silan Dhammam Sadhukam Gatava Apamadhena Sampadita.
आम बनते साधु 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 थैंक यू बनते
Okay, any other program?
No, but they can start.
Okay, now who have to share the screen, right?
Yes, Bante.
Okay, now we will pay homage to the Buddha before we start giving Dhamma talk. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So today, the organizer gave me the title, Obstacles in Meditation. In reality, this is really very big topic. There are many informations about obstacles in meditation. But today, I will make very simple and also more important obstacles for meditators. When we study Visuddhimaggas, Amritamaggas, and all other important suttas for meditation, we can learn very common obstacles that can make your concentration decline or stop. Sometimes you will stop your improvement naturally. Sometimes your concentration will decline naturally. What are the reasons? What are the conditions that make your concentration decline or stop improving? Actually, there will be many other important factors in the suttas or in the Buddha teaching. But here, I should introduce only a few things. The first one, kilesattiva, intense defilements. So we can also understand very strong defilements. So since we all have defilements, at any time our defilements can be stronger and stronger. When the defilement becomes stronger, our practice will become weaker. This is natural. For example, sometimes you have to worry about your family. Then worry also a kind of dosa. This is also defilements. You have to worry about your business. You have to worry about your friends, this and that, and many things. So worry is also one of the defilements. That means this is also dosa. Similarly, you can also understand lobha. In the case of lobha, it's very clear, like a sensual desire also, lobha. You don't want to enjoy sensual pleasure. This becomes an obstacle to improve. Then, not only sensual pleasure, you have your own earning, your own business for your surviving. Of course, since you have to do business, you have to earn money, you must have greed. Sometimes you will be greedy too much, then it will be extra burden for you. It will be an obstacle for your improvement. Or sometimes we also have improper greed. That means disagreeable greed. For example, you do take somebody's properties without considerations of others' welfare. Then you do take somebody's property forcefully. All these are called improper greed. When you have improper greed, it will be a very big difficulty for you to improve. So you have already known lobha, dosa. Also, you also have already known moha, delusions or illusions. Sometimes your mind is not quite clear. Then you may have a lot of delusions. You misunderstand or misapprehend the right dance as a wrong, the wrong as a right. Mostly, if we say ignorance or moha, it will cover the truth. It will discover untruth. This is also called moha or avijja or delusions or illusion. When we have very strong illusions, very strong delusions, in Pali, very strong moha, very strong avijja, we cannot improve. There will be the declinations of your concentration. So you may have knowledge about defilement, such as mana, ditthi, vicikiccha, mita, uddhacca, right? You may have known all other defilements. That's why I will not elaborate all types of defilements here. Okay, the main thing is when you have very strong defilements, it will be very big obstacles for your improvement. If you have less defilements, you have more possibility to improve. Then you also have to learn what are really called defilements. Of course, if we say defilements, we can also understand it makes our mind impure. If we don't have defilements, our mind become pure. That's why when we are going to meditate, we are trying to beautify our minds. When we have defilements, it will make our mind impure. It become opposite. Then we can also say they are enemies of concentrations, enemies of meditation. That is why when you can subside the defilements, you can improve faster. If you cannot subside the defilements, it will take time to improve. This is the first thing you have to know about obstacle. Second one, asapaya gochara, unsuitable results. Okay, here in the case of unsuitable results, we can also understand that improper lifestyles, improper daily routine as a basis. Actually, it will be very wise. Later, I will elaborate asapaya gochara one by one. So there will be a little long list of asapaya gochara. Then finally, we have the last one, ananu-yoga, lack of effort. This is also one of the factors. Sometimes if we cannot improve very long time, we will be lazy. This is called ananu-yoga, lack of effort. So we can also say not making efforts. We can also understand another way we become lazy and sluggish in our practice. So whether improve or not, if we are diligent and wise enough, we can improve. Sometimes our effort is not strong enough to maintain concentration. That is why we retreat many times. Also, we lost our concentration many times. As soon as we have stronger concentration, we must be able to maintain. If we say another way, we must have maintaining efforts. If we cannot maintain very well, there will be declination. Sometimes we become really lazy, let alone maintain. Even we don't want to meditate. This is too much already, then you will not improve anymore. Another thing is that meditation itself is not that much interesting. For example, anapanasati, breathing in, breathing out. It's not colorful object, not really interesting. It's also not like beautiful sound, nice sounds people desire. That is why when we are going to meditate, our mind will not incline to meditation that easily. But not like enjoyable things. Of course, when we start experiencing something new, like a rapture, joy, tranquility, bliss, it will be interesting. We will be interested in, meditation. That is why Ananda Yoga is also one of the factors, one of the obstacles that make your concentration decline, or that will make your concentration stop improving. So here, there will be many other situations we have to analyze according to these three. It will be too wide. So if we summarize, you must remember these three. When you have these three, it will become obstacles. Then we have to move, explaining Asapaya Gochara. What is Asapaya Gochara? Okay, here we should start talking about Asapaya Gochara, one after another. The first one, Kama Ramata, delight in walk. What does it mean, delight in walk? Here, you will be busy with many things. You are maybe inclined to do many things. This is called Kama Ramata, delight in walk. Then we can also understand many other things similar to that. For example, you may have very heavy job in your daily life, like for example, construction. When you have to do some constructions, you have to take care of workers. You also have to take care of the designs and this and that and many things. You have to check everything. Then your mind must pay attention to that constructions. That is why you cannot improve your concentration. Kamaramata, that is really very heavy duties. Then not only that, when we talk about Kamaramata, that also mentions you have to do many other activities. Okay, activity means, I don't know in India what kind of activity you have, right? For example, you may have many activities like a gathering for some ceremony, like recently we have Vesak Day, right? It will be big ceremony, big event. And you have to invite many people, you have to arrange many different things. This also make you busy unnecessarily. This is also called Kama Ramata, delight in work. This is also really very important to reduce your duty, to reduce your responsibilities. Actually, we may have many other cases, like we may have, right, busy with household works, also have the family activities, family gatherings, family duties, responsibilities, social duties, social responsibilities. If we are busy with all these things, then it will be slow. It will be an obstacle for our improvement because our mind will incline to that kind of things most of the time. The heavier responsibility we have, the most time we have to spend. That is why it will be extra burden for you to improve. That is why it's also important not to follow or not to be busy with any other things. If you have many other duty or responsibility, try to finish all of them first. Rather than just trying to focus on meditation totally. If you have to do two different things, it becomes very big obstacle. Okay, there will be some exceptions. For example, you have to learn something, Buddha teaching, you may recite something, recitation, right? In this kind of case, it will be exceptions. As long as you are not very busy with reciting or learning, it will be fine. Somebody is playing on the screen, be careful. Somebody, there is on the green line, right? Who played this one? Host, be careful that one. Okay, now I have to talk about learning, okay, or the teaching. So in the case of learning and teaching, if we have to learn very seriously, of course, it will be an obstacle. If we have to teach very heavy things, it will be an obstacle. Just for example, you may have only half an hour a day learning Also, not very much thinking about learning. You don't need to think about it very deeply. It will not be very serious obstacle. Of course, if you don't learn when you are meditating, it's better. Similarly, teaching. You have to teach some Dhamma, you have to discuss some sutta, you have to read and study. If you are very skillful in learning, it doesn't matter. If you're not very skillful in learning, or if not very skillful in teaching, you will be busy. Then it will be an obstacle. So Kamaramata is also one of the obstacles for improvement. Basaramata, delighting in talk. So delighting in talk means we may have many improper conversation. For example, talking about the politics, different people have different idea, different opinion. Sometimes we have to debate or argue. Right? Also not very useful for your improvement in meditation. It becomes an obstacle. Similarly, you may talk about the foods. Different people have different favorite foods. Right? In India, you may like Indian food, right? Now I'm in Thailand. So I have to eat Thai foods. So recently I have been in Korea. I have to eat Korean food. But the main thing is if we talk about food, it will be endless. Oh, this was the good, that was the good, this was not quite good, that was not quite good. I like this one, I don't like this one. It will be very big topic. It will be endless. So that's why in the case of Basaramata, when we are going to talk about Anapanasati, when we are practicing Anapana, it will be okay. But there must be special topic. Sometimes we can practice only Anapana simply, but we talk about Vipassana, very big topic. And it becomes an obstacle. So we may think about our conversation when we are meditating. Actually, if you are a very serious meditator, you may have experience like this. You may have some conversation with your Dhamma friends in the break time. When you're going to meditate, all the topic will come to your mind. It will pop up naturally. So this is called delighting in thoughts. So there should be suitable talk. For example, to motivate somebody, we talk about sila, samadhi, panya, effort, sandhuti, contentment. Right? When we have this kind of conversation, this kind of topic, it will be helpful for other people, it will be helpful for ourselves. If we have many improper conversation, it will become a big obstacle. The next one, nidharamata, delighting in sleep. Right, this one is also one of the things, right? I don't know how many hours do you sleep when you are meditating. Actually, when we talk about delighting in sleep, although you don't fall asleep, but you just lying down on the bed, enjoying the pleasure of the bed. This is also nidharamata, delighting in sleep. So here we have the three things about nidharamata. The first one is we call seya sukha. Seya sukha means you may have very luxurious bed, very luxurious mattress, very luxurious sofa. You may lie down on it. You enjoy the luxury of mattress or bed or sofa or cushion. This is also called nidharamata. Passa sukha. Actually, passa sukha also means like the sides, right? For example, like a lion in one side, another side, lying from the back, also lying on the chest. So you may enjoy many different positions of your body. The kind of luxuries. This is also called delighting in sleep. Another thing is seya sukha. Seya sukha means, metta sukha. Metta sukha means drowsiness. Although you wake up, but you don't get up. Lie down on the bed, you just enjoying drowsiness, relax. This is called metta sukha. This is also called nidharamata. If we have the habit of enjoying luxury, then this is also a kind of laziness. Then we cannot improve easily. That's why it's important not to enjoy this kind of luxuries, not to enjoy this kind of, like we can say, drowsiness or lying down or luxurious bed or any leisure enjoyment. Then these are the obstacle. When you have this kind of habits, you cannot improve your concentration will decline. Okay, now we have another one. Sangani Karamata. Delighting in company or company. Okay, here when we talk about delighting in companions or company, they're like this is a kind of socializing, right? Taking pleasure in group. But when we are going to meditate, we must be alone. We must be able to live alone. Kaya viveka, body seclusion. If we like company, if we have pleasure in group, we cannot improve. You may have an experience. If you have group, you also have problem, right? Every single group, there's a problem. Without problem, there cannot be group. Okay, here in the case of Sanganika Ramada, there can be many different types of Sanganika, gathering, or communion, or association, or like social activities. In our modern community, like you may use social media whole day, or many whole times, or many hours in a day. This is also called Sanganika Ramada. Although you live alone, but your mind is not in seclusion. You have many different objects. You will have this and that and many things, right? This is called Sanganika Ramada. So now you may have many friends. You can call on, you can speak on phone. You will contact with this person, that person, many things, right? When you're meditating, and it becomes an obstacle. Sanganika Ramada. So sometimes we may look for somebody to accompany us or to talk to somebody, which is fine. Somebody who can accompany us or who can who can who can listen our talk. So yeah, Sanika Ramana also give me like a similar look because the conversation, right? Sometimes by conversation we can also associate. That's Aramata. In the case of Sanika Aramata, there can be many other companion or association. That is like exchanging properties. You have to send your property to your friends send his property to you, right? This kind of exchanging properties. This is also called Sanganika. Not only that, like for example, like you want to go with your friend hand in hand, touch him while you contact. This is also Sanganika. So when we have a lot of companionship, association, communication, then it will be the obstacle for improvement. So when you are going to meditate, you have to cut all the types of association. Okay, now we have two modes to go. Bhojani amatanyuta, not moderating in food. Sorry here, misspelling. No good for in food, not good. So F and G, maybe the key is very close. That type of era. Not moderating in food. Okay, when we are going to meditate, we cannot eat what we like also. We must eat what we should. We must eat only suitable food. Otherwise, there will be declination. In the case of Bhojani Matanyuta, we have to know a few more steps. So when we are going to accept the foods, we must know the amount of the food we can consume. This is also called moderating in food. If we don't know, this is amatanyu, not moderating in food. So sometimes when we are going for Pinda Bata, there are many donors. We cannot say no. If we say no, it's not very polite, but we have to accept whatever thing they offer. But when we are going to eat, we must know the proper amount of food and suitable food for us. For example, when you are going to meditate, from time to time you may feel drowsy. Actually, in your daily life, you may have experienced that one. When you feel drowsy, you might check, or you must reflect or recall what kind of food caused drowsiness. If you can remember the food that caused drowsy, you must avoid it. Otherwise, you cannot improve. So not only that, after eating sometimes some types of foods, you can stabilize your mind, you can calm down your mind, you can get your concentration better and stronger. Try to remember that kind of food also. If we say briefly, we must know suitable food and unsuitable food when we are meditating. Otherwise, we cannot maintain our concentration. Even drowsiness, when it's caused by other situations, we can handle, we can overcome easily. When it's caused by foods, it's not that easy to handle. You may feel drowsy as soon as you close your eyes. Right? This is also not quite good for your improvement. So that is why when we say bhojane amatanyuta, not moderating in food. So you must remember suitable food and unsuitable food. You must remember what kind of foods make your concentration stronger, what kind of foods make your concentration weaker, what kind of concentration make your meditation better, what kind of foods make your concentration worse. If you remember, you can avoid. Also, you can adjust the amount of foods. It will be for your improvement. Okay, now the last one in this group, Asapaya Gochara. Indriya su Agoda Dwarata, not guardian sense doors. This one is also very common teaching of the Buddha. Even in Pao, when I arrived for the first time, Pao always remind us, although you undertake Patimokkha Samvara Sila very seriously, if you cannot improve, you may need Indriya Samvara Sila. Indriya Samvara Sila means guardian sense doors. Here we have the Pali word Indriya su Akuta Dwarata. Akuta means not guardian, not closing, not protecting. So it doesn't mean you have to close your eyes. You have to close your ears by ear plug. Or you have to close your nose or mouth or something. Actually, in this case, not to enter defilements into your sense. This is more important. For example, eyes. If we wisely open our eyes, defilement will not arise. If we open our eyes unwisely, whatever then we see, we may feel something desirable, or we may have attachment to it, then it will be an obstacle. Similarly, when seeing undesirable things, we may feel discomfort in our mind. This is also one of the problems. So there can be many other defilements that can enter into our sense doors. Through eyes, actually, there are many defilements, right, that can enter. Okay, practically, you may have been to a shopping center, right? You may have been to a shopping center. You may have seen many desirable things. Whether you need or not, you may feel greedy when seeing that. Oh, if I can get that one, right? You may have that kind of inclination to take some of the properties. So this is also a kind of greed. If we can cut our sense, especially our eyes, we will not see that kind of things. Then, although we see it, we will not feel greedy. This is more important. Another thing is undesirable things. Right? So if we see something we dislike, we feel something discomfort in our mind. This also defilements. So by guarding our eyes, we may have less defilements. Okay, practically, how big TV screen in your home? Right? As far as I know, in every single house in India, you have TV, right? Maybe now you have flat TV, big screen. This is normal, right? For what do you use that big screen? For your eyes. You want to enjoy, just pleasing your eyes. So if you spend very long time with this kind of TV channel, telephone, like movie and this and that, that means no guidance and rules. Okay, another thing is the sound system in your home. How good it is. As far as I remember, I've been to a few houses in India, right? You have sound systems, also you have satellite receiver, DVD player, but now you may not have it. Now you may not need DVD player, right? You may have only maybe flash stick just driving inside into TV. You can enjoy movie. Okay, the main thing is sound system. Okay, now practically how many earphones do you have? Okay, practically I have an earphone here. This is Samsung. So this is for listening, right? Or if we have good earphone, there will be good sounds. We can listen very clearly, very nicely. So this for what? To please your ears, right? We please our ears by using different musics, different sounds, and different device to make it better or clear. So if you want to listen anything like that, it is aguda dwarata, you can improve. Okay. After eyes, we also have ear, right? How about nose? Actually, in India, you also have many natural perfume, right? You may also have handmade or homemade perfume, right? Homemade perfume or handmade perfume. So for what? To please your nose, right? Actually, as a bhikkhu, I don't know anything about perfume. But the first time I have ever known about sandalwood oil when I visit India, one of the devotees offered me sandalwood oil. I thought this is a perfume. Why I should use this one? Then he recommended, Bande, you can use this one for your shrine room. Then I remember the Pali word, oh, Gantakuti, okay. Gantakuti means perfume chamber, right? Oh, that means okay, this is a good idea. Okay. I think year 2025, 2015, I have been to India for the first time. At the time, I start realizing, oh, in India, you also use sandalwood wine to make good smell in the shrine room. When I go to Cambodia, then some devotee offer me perfume. This is really perfume. I say, why I have to use perfume? We are not allowed to use perfume. Then they say, no, Bande, you can spray this perfume in the shrine room. Then I realized, okay, this is also Cambodia culture. The first time I have ever got perfume is in Cambodia. So later, when I go to other country, I also come to know they also use perfume in the shrine room. Okay, you may use some perfume for your shrine room. Then this is okay, not really big problem. But to enjoy the smell, if you use very expensive perfume, this is also one of the obstacles in the Yesu Akuta Dwarata, right? Actually, for about smell, it would be many things to say. For example, like a noun, even detergent powder or washing liquid, soap, bath gel or bathing gel, or we can also say like a shampoo, right? Everything have smell. They have good smell. So if we're trying to enjoy any kind of perfume or good smell, we are not guarding our nose. It will be for declination. Okay, another thing is the tongue, right? Enjoying the taste. I don't know how many times a day do you eat in your home. Actually, as far as I know, many lay person, right? Whenever they see something new, they try to eat. They try to taste it. This is their habit already, right? You may waste a lot of money for this kind of taste. So that's why many of Myanmar's Asian sayadaw, Asian teacher said, the tongue is only, right, 4-finger breath, right? Only 4-finger breath. But it costs a lot of money, right? This is the normal. So we eat to fill up our stomach, to sustain our body. If we eat just for taste, we become greedier and greedier. This is not quite good. That's why in the case of Indonesia Aguda Dwarata, we must not follow the demand of our tongue. It will be better for our improvement. Actually, you can also save money if you have Indonesia Aguda Dwarata. Similarly, tangible body. So you may have many clothes, right? Very fine clothes, very soft clothes, right? That means you may feel very pleasant when you wear this kind of clothes in your body. This is also called following the demand of your body, sensation. In the case of sensation, there are many other enjoyments, not only clothes. I already mentioned like even luxurious bed, right? There are many other enjoyments. This is external. So if we say briefly, if we follow the demand of our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and minds, this is called Indriya Akuta Dwarata. It will make your concentration decline. So these are 6 Asapaya Gojara, unsuitable domains, unsuitable results. When we have these unsuitable results, unsuitable domains, there will be declination of concentration. If you want to improve, you must try to develop, or we must try to avoid all these 6. Actually, there are also some other declinations. In Pali, we call papancha rama. Papancha means expanding, or we can also say prolonging or delaying. Sometimes you can do within one day, but you delay, you postpone. And for example, in the case of meditation, right? You may have good concentration in the very beginning, but later you become lazy. Okay, I will try my best the next section. So you postpone the next section. Unnecessarily prolonging your duration. If you experience the next section the same, not that much good, you may postpone, delay. Okay, the next section. If you have the same thing happen, the next section, or with the next section. So one day when we have many, the next section, finally the next day, right? You postpone the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day many times, the next week, the next week many times, then the next month, the next month many times, next year. It may have many next year, probably next life. Right? If we delay like that, it will be next life. That is why Bhapancharamata, delaying or prolonging unnecessarily, this is also one of the obstacles. Okay, these are, we call asapaya gochara, unsuitable domain. If we have this kind of asapaya gochara, there will be big obstacle. You will be very slow in improvement, or sometimes you may decline your concentration. Then when you study Visuddhimagga, you can also find many other things like that. For example, 10 impediments. Oh, this was a spelling mistake. 10 and 10, right? 10 impediments. Like, for example, living place, right? Also, their families, gay, and many, other we have 10 impediments. You can learn in Visuddhimagga. All this will make your improvement slow. It becomes an obstacle. Now, this is 7 hindrances. You have already known 7 hindrances. Some will also say 5 hindrances. It depends, okay? There will be different calculations. Anyway, you may have already known abhijja, right? Covetousness or greed or improper greed. Vyabhata, evil, right? Sorry, kamachanda, so sensual desire. Vyabhata, evil. You may have this kind of knowledge. These are also called hindrances, similar to defilements. So finally, we also have 5 Chitta killers. What does it mean, Chitta killers? Actually, Chitta killers means like arrows in the heart, arrows in the thorns. Also, it makes your improvement slow. This is called Chitta killer. Especially, it will mention doubt. For example, doubt about the Buddhas and Buddha's quality. This is also called Chitta killer. Then you may have a doubt about the Buddha's quality, the Buddha's knowledge, Buddha's Sappanyutta. It will be Chitta killer. When you have this kind of doubt, you cannot improve. Similarly, Dhammas and Dhamma's quality. You may have a doubt about Dhamma's quality. It will be an obstacle, Chitta killer, arrow in your heart. Similarly, Sanghas and Sanghas quality. You have already known Sangha quality, Supatipano, etc., right? Then if you have this kind of doubt about the quality of the noble Sangha, this is also Chitta killer. Then there are a few things here. That one is talk about 3 trainings. 3 training means Sila Samadhi Panya, and the benefit of 3 trainings. You may have thought about the benefit of Sila, morality, the benefit of Samadhi, concentration, the benefit of wisdom, Panya, Vipassana, path and fruition knowledge. This is also called Chitta killer, arrow in the heart. You can also imagine arrow in your heart. As long as you don't remove, you're going to release. You're going to feel pleasant. You're going to feel pleasure. So similarly, when we have this kind of arrow, we cannot improve. Another one, the last one among the 5. That is hatred or holding grudge against fellow Dhamma friends. Even this minor conflict, if you hold grudge against your Dhamma friends, you cannot improve. This is the obstacle for your improvement. Actually, there are many other explanations about obstacles in meditation. It will be too wide. Okay, today I will stop here. Then you may have some question. Okay, as conclusion, in Buddha teaching, Buddha also mentioned both good and bad. There will be this kind of defilements, this kind of difficulty. You can overcome this way, this way, this way. The Buddha also mentioned difficulty. The Buddha also mentioned how to overcome it, or the way to overcome it. That is why you must also learn how to overcome all these impediments and obstacles. It will be easier for your improvement. It will be easier for your long-time practice. May you all be able to practice free trainings, and may you all be able to realize final cessation and no suffering.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bante. There is a question in the chat box, Bante.
Okay.
Sayadaw, please explain about the uh, klesa tibba.
Hmm?
The first,
Kilisatiba.
yeah.
Mhm.
Could you please,
Uh,
if one is ordained and her or his parents have difficulties in making a living, should she or he can go back to the home?
Okay. In this case, it depends on what kind of things they are doing, right? For example, they are not very healthy. You have to take care of your family, or you have to take care of your parents. In this case, you can go back. In the case of brother and sister, it depends on your decision. This is about family issues, right? It depends on your plan for the future. So one more thing here, right? If we don't care about parents, then this is also not very polite. This is also our responsibilities. Another thing is, what about the other family member, like brothers and sisters or aunt or uncles? In this case, they may have their own family. Now you don't need to take care of it. This is very obvious, right? Okay, if we say briefly, if you have to handle for your parents' affair, okay, you can do it. Try to finish as quick as possible. Then you can meditate. There will be some conditions. For example, in the case of health care, right? Health care means your parents are really sick. You must take care of them until they pass away. Otherwise, you may feel guilty or regret in the future. This is the one thing, right? So it depends on your family life and your conditions. You have different options. For about Kilisativa, it will be very long. Okay, in the Dhamma talk, I just mentioned few things about Loba, Dosa, and Moha, right? This is called Kilisativa. Okay, what about jealousy? When you have very strong jealousy, you feel unpleasant in your mind. You cannot improve your concentration. Similarly, stinginess or possessiveness. When somebody touches your property, you feel discomfort. This is also one of the obstacles, right? Kilisativa. Okay, in the case of mana, pride, we can also say like a stubbornness, arrogance. This is also one of the obstacles. Of course, mana is not quite good, right? When you have mana, you cannot improve anymore. This is a very serious toxic in our practice. Sometimes we have overconfidence with our own practice. This is also called mana, stubbornness or arrogance. Then when we have this kind of mana, it will be the obstacle. Similarly, I already mentioned Tina, right? Drowsiness, laziness, sleepiness. These are also called defilements. If you have a habit of long time sleeping, long time drowsies, not quite good. Right? It depends on what kind of defilements you have in your daily life. You can balance. You have to change your habits gradually. Finally, you can overcome the defilements. Or you can subside the defilements, then you will improve. Okay, next one.
Uh, Bante, what is the difference between attachment and genuine care?
Attachment and
Attachment and genuine care. Care.
genuine care.
Care. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Means attachment and the care. Somebody care.
Attachment and care. Okay. Okay, one more thing, right?
Yeah.
In the case of attachments, You are always inclined to that person all the time. This is called attachment. Okay? In the case of care, what that means they need care, that's why you care. For example, when your parent is sick, of course they need you, right? You must make them happy and pleasant. If they are dying, it's more important, right? Let them pass away peacefully, calmly, happily. It's more important, right? This is called care. Okay, in the case of care, then we just fulfill our responsibilities and our duties. This is called care. In the case of attachment, we make ourselves busy unnecessarily beyond our duties. And this is called attachment. Okay?
तुमचे ध्यानाचे जे प्रश्न असतील तुम्ही ते इथं विचारू शकता. आता बनते आहेत तर आय टेल देम अबाउट आस्किंग अबाउट द मेडिटेशन क्वेश्चन ऑल्सो बनते.
Okay.
लवकर विचारा. वेळ नका घेऊ. I think no question Bante.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Bante.
Okay. So share the merits.
Yes, Bante.
Okay, so now we can share merit, right? Etavada cha amehi
Etavata cha ammehi
sambadam bunya sambadam
sampadang punya sampadang
sabbe deva numodandu
sabbe deva anumodantu
sabbe buddha numodandu
sabbe bhuta anumodantu
sabbe satta numodandu
sabbe satta anumodantu
sabba sambati siddhiya
sabba sampatti siddhiya
idhamme nyatinam hodu
idang me jnatinang hontu
sukhita hondu nyatayo
sukhita hontu nyatayo
idhamme nyatinam hodu
idang me jnatinang hontu
sukhita hondu nyatayo
sukhita hontu nyatayo
idhamme nyatinam hodu
idang me jnatinang hontu
sukhita hondu nyatayo
sukhita hontu nyatayo
idhamme punyam
idang me punyang
asavakhaya
asavakhayam
vaham hodu
ahang hotu
idhamme punyam
idang me punyang
nibbanasa
panasa
pajayo hodu
pachayo hotu
mama punya bhagam
mama punya bhagang
sabba sadanam
sabba sattanang
bhajemi
pachemi
te sabbe
te sabbe
me sama
me samang
punya bhagam
punya bhagang
lavantu
labantu.
sadhu sadhu sadhu.
Thank you very much Bante for coming.
Sadhu.